Welcome. You're listening live to our NASCAR Xfinity Series race coverage of the Pacific Office Automation 147 at Portland International. We're in the closing laps of this NASCAR Xfinity Series race stream. We're only going to get the final 9 laps of action for you. We got 10 to go right now, getting ready for a restart as they've given them 1 to go. 2 cars on the front row for this restart appears to be Shane Van Gisbergen and Justin Allgaier around this nearly 2-mile road course layout. The way the first 2 stages have gone so far, we look at some of the SVG's led for 8 laps today. He was my pick to win the race initially. 98 car has led 15 laps today. That's Riley Herbst. 2 laps led for Sheldon Creed. And Sam Mayer started on the pole, but it sounded like he had spun turn 1, lap 1. He's made his way back up to 3rd, but still has not led any laps. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks for watching all the Craftsman Truck Series live commentary stream. We're here for the finish of this one. As projected, green flag in the air, 9 laps to go for Justin Allgaier, and already 4 wide on the restart behind him, headed down towards turn 1. Very early in the braking zone, Parker Kligerman busts his way through there, making slight contact with Shane Van Gisbergen in the 97. Actually, it might have been Chandler Smith in the 81. He could have made contact there. I believe SVG in a different colored car. It was just ahead of that mess. In fact, the 97 of SVG battles with Sam Mayer door-to-door, making slight contact through turn 3. Pass is going to be made in the keyhole, and SVG is up to the 3rd place position. A lot of 2x2 racing going on behind him. A lot of beating and banging. This is a very narrow, very tight road course layout in Portland. Again, just 9 laps to go in this race so far. The only drivers out of the race with a DNF looks to be Preston Pardis and Jeb Burton. Still have 36 cars on the track, 29 of which are on the lead lap at this juncture. We have also had 5 cautions, 2 during the stage breaks, 3 yellows for incident in this. Actually, yellows for incident are not accurate that are shown on screen right now. That was from the truck race earlier. Apologize on that. Raw feeds are blending together. A lot of damage. Oh, and another spin. 3, 4, 5 cars around, maybe more than that, up off the exit of the final corner. Headed back to the main straightaway. I see Brandon Jones is in it and a few others as well. Heavily into the tire wall is Brandon Jones. And take a bit of cleanup to fix that mess. It was a mess from the beginning. Chandler Smith picked up quite a bit of damage in the middle portion of that lap. I believe that was a contact that he had with Parker Kligerman, if I'm not mistaken, on the initial restart. Severe damage to the front of the 9 of Brandon Jones. His car's all up underneath the tire barrier and that tire wall on the exit of, I believe, whatever the final corner is on this racetrack, is where that ended up taking place. Andre Castro on the 14's got a ton of damage as well. I mean, again, on the main straightaway, there were 3 cars turned around and 2 against the outside tire wall, that being Kyle Sieg and Brandon Jones. That was a mess. We'll let the FS1 booth lay out everything that happened there. Sounds like Trevor Bain and Jamie McMurray with Adam Alexander is in the booth for the FS1 race. Truck race had Phil Parsons, Joey Logano, and Jamie Little in the booth. See Brandon moving around a little bit in the car there. Yeah, stayed in. They get. That's right. So that he can get out. Or he just felt like unsafe to get out and in the wrong direction, and now I'm sure he's gotten word that he can climb in the race car. This brings me to some of these cars getting banged up late in this race. Another road course race next Saturday. So how do you manage your fleet
of cars going down to Sonoma. And I know a lot of these top tier teams will bring a couple of vehicles and they'll plan to run a different primary next Saturday at Sonoma than what they ran here today. But that's something to consider as we look down the road in 7 days as Jones takes off the helmet and climbs from the race car. Always a good sign anytime you have contact like that. Rewind. I mentioned this briefly. Sheldon Creed penalized on the restart. You guys tell me what you see here.
Yeah, if you look right there, they have to cross that white line, and he got out of line for that, so he's going to get penalized for basically getting out of line too soon. And you touched on that earlier, how hard that would be to actually pull out of line too soon because he went to start finish line.
I didn't think it was possible, actually.
Now we know. And Chandler Smith did a nice job backing out right there, getting himself in the right position. You see him off in the background.
44 is Brennan
Brown. Second. Oh, and Jones just has nowhere to go right there, trying to get to the outside of Blaine Perkins, who both of those cars end up. You don't realize how fast you're going on a road course until things start to go wrong.
Yeah, the way that this racetrack works is kind of like Watkins Glen on the exit of the last corner where things just bottleneck. And once somebody's sideways, there's absolutely nowhere to go.
Yeah, these guys are all being aggressive in the back of the pack. And we were focused over here on Chandler Smith
coming out of the exhaust pipes out of its
could have been, yeah, that's a good point, Trevor. Could get to the main flow of traffic. You hear his engine. Yeah, his engine does blow up right there. He has the damage from something else.
Well, I remember back to qualifying, you talked about his early downshifts and how that can be really hard on the engine, and it let go right as he got into turn 2.
Andre Castro got damage in the 14. Saw Ryan Ellis spinning around. Teammates from Alpha Prime, both with some contact there and damage. Fourth caution of the day. Crash in turn 12 involving multiple vehicles. Restart with 5 Xfinity or so, all Geyer leading.
All right, well, laps winding down here late in this Xfinity Series race. Again, apologize for anybody who wasn't listening in truck race. I was right on that. But obviously, in doing so, we have missed the majority of this Xfinity race, kind of similar to the 600 last weekend with streaming the entire Indy 500. Just very unfortunate to have two races overlapping with one another. Hadn't had that in this channel since doing these live commentary streams for every series. We did the Truck Xfinity Cup all year last year, never ran into this issue, and now 2 weeks in a row we've ran into it all of a sudden here late May into early June. But appreciate everybody that has bared with me here throughout the last couple of weeks on the channel. It hurts me probably more than it hurts you, unless maybe you're not able to watch visually any of the races. Then I guess it would hurt you in that aspect. So doing the best I can with what I can, given weather pending with all the situations. The good news is there's no rain in the forecast for tomorrow's Cup Series race. It was just the truck race that was hindered for this weekend at Gateway. So again, the Cup race will still begin at 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow afternoon, at least with our coverage. Drop of the green flag will be about 45 minutes after that later tomorrow afternoon. So again, 3 p.m. Eastern, we will go live for that race. But appreciate everybody tuning in here for this. We'll get a quick ad break in and you'll listen live to the closing laps of this race. 6 to go under caution, the Pacific Office Automation 147 in Portland. All right, so right now we've got Justin Allgaier in the race lead. Sheldon Creed is second. Shane Van Gisbergen in third. Sam Mayer fourth. Sammy Smith fifth. Ryan Truex sixth. Parker Kligerman seventh. Josh Bilicki with a good run in eighth. Ed Jones ninth. And AJ Allmendinger is 10th. Cole Custer 11th. Parker Retzlaff 12th. Josh Williams 13th. Leland Honeyman 14th. Kyle Weatherman 15th. Riley Herb 16th. Ryan Sieg 17th. Austin Hill 18th. Nathan Bird 19th. And Jesse Love is 20th. Garrett Smithley 21st, Kyle Sieg 22nd rather. Patrick Gallagher is 23rd, Austin Green 24th, Brendan Poole 25th, Andre Castro 26th, Blaine Perkins 27th, Ryan Ellis is the last car in the lead lap at 28th. Logan Bearden 29th, and Matt DiBenedetto is 30th. Jeremy Clements 31st, Chandler Smith 32nd and now out of the race. Same for Brandon Jones in 33rd. 34th. Anthony Alfredo, tough day for him. He came in just inside the cutoff line on points. Haley Negan, 35th. Sage Karam, 36th. Jeb Burton, 37th. And Preston Pardis rounds out our 38-car field.
15th race of the year, second we've done now. Great day for Justin Allgaier. Win stage 1, stage 2. He led 44 laps, and he's out front for this late restart. But there's going to be so much to manage. It's going to get aggressive. Let's do the choose. We'll go green with 5 to go. No, we're not going to choose here, evidently. One more lap before we choose. So probably 4 to go on the restart here when we come around and do the choose.
Well, you notice that 18 cars missing out of that lineup. From second place, Sheldon Creed trying to get that first Xfinity win, but up on top of that pit box, I've got to imagine this is just as frustrating for first-year crew chief Sam McCauley, longtime engineer on the 11 Cup car, has come down here to try to be a crew chief, and these opportunities don't come often when you're battling for a win. So frustrating for drivers, but even more so for a crew chief who had nothing to do with it.
Looking at our top 5, 3 Junior Motorsports Chevys there, just like last week, just like here a year ago, and the man in charge, Justin Allgaier, Amanda.
Yeah, and Jim, you just told your driver, congratulations on keeping a clean race car here today, but to go ahead and use it up for the rest of this race, what are you expecting on this restart?
Well, last year it got pretty ugly for us down there. I ended up losing the race over it, so I would expect probably more of the same. He's done a really good job today. The Brant Cherry Camaro has been really good all day, and hopefully we can close it out.
Thank you, Jim. He also had his own work today, guys. When we got over here for the interview, he still had his head sock on.
Jackman Jim Pullman.
Jack of all trades. A changer for a long time. I remember that back in the day.
What is this, a dad joke extravaganza?
I knew those.
Yes.
Well, I think Pullman had the right attitude heading into that, though. I mean, being super realistic, knowing that this restart, you've got probably a 50% chance of coming out of this with the lead and hopefully not spun around.
We'll do the choose, get the restart coming up here tomorrow. The United Football League regular season finale is in prime time as the Houston Rebels battle the Memphis Showboats. It all kicks off tomorrow night, 7 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Mentioned Junior Motorsports, how good they've been today with those 3 cars inside the top 5. Give some love to Ryan Truex, who's had a good afternoon. Parker Kligerman in the 48 has had a lot to overcome. Ed Jones knocking on the door of a career best in 7th. Allmendinger back up there in 8th. And Cole Custer, who had that bad pit stop, was outside the top 25, is returned to the top 10.
How about that 8 of Sammy Smith? I mean, we have not really talked about him since the first lap when he got spun out there, making his way back inside the top 5. And to be honest, it's not a bad place to be right now, Adam. Row 2. No, and when you get down to turn 1, depending on what happens on that front row, that second or third row very possibly can come out with a lead when they exit turn 2.
Josh?
Well, down here with the crew chief of the 20 of Ryan Truex is Tyler Allen. What are you telling your driver in terms of being able to take this thing home and get his second win of the season?
I was just telling him to clean him up and get ready for the chaos. No one knows what's going to happen here. We'll have 4 to go on the restart. It's up to him, man. Just avoid the chaos, and I really think we're in a good spot.
Another one of the crew chiefs that's gone over the wall here today. Good luck the rest of the way.
Well, head socks are the truth.
They are.
We saw pit box apparently today.
Probably want to see that tomorrow. Drivers up there inside the top 10 that haven't had a problem today. And it was a Junior Motorsports car that had a chance to win at Dover, and Truex, who we hadn't talked a lot about throughout the day, went up there and stole it away. So we'll see if history repeats itself. He's got some ground to make up, though, as we do the choose, and he will be 5th prior to that.
I think we have a new format for the All-Star qualifying next year. The crew chief's got to go over the wall, carry a tire, jack a car, something.
I wouldn't check your phone after this. You're going to have some bad messages in there.
Well, we'll see what. Just get a good jump again on Shane Van Gisbergen. And what I would be worried about if I'm Justin is Shane's had a couple of shots at it now. But eventually it's going to work out.
He makes it up your all guy, or keep it the same, keep it slow, rolling into the
I'm
box.
going to tell you, Trevor, It's my secret.
4 laps to go. Will this be the final race?
All right, up off the exit of that final corner, heading into the restart zone. Gotta wait on Allgaier to make the launch. He makes it. Green flag back in the air. Shane Van Gisbergen is going to be in line right behind that 7 car. Big block by the 7 to pull to the outside. SVG occupies the bottom with Sammy Smith down to the left side door of SVG into the right-handed turn 1. 3 and 4 wide further back in the pack. A lot of tire locking up going on there. A little bit of contact rubbing their way through the corner, but everybody stays in the right direction for now. Great restart by SVG up off the exit of turn 2 to the inside of turn 3, trying to get to the inside of Justin Allgaier for the lead, and he's there. Side by side for the lead now with just 3.5 laps to go. Into the assist, SVG going to come out with the race lead, and he gets a bump from behind from Justin Allgaier, but he does not budge. Shane Van Gisbergen back to the lead at Portland, trying to lock himself into the Xfinity Series playoffs with a win. Is number 1 in the Xfinity Series, running full-time this season for Colleague Racing. And Colleague in general hasn't gone to victory lane yet this year. AJ's still winless. He's in the 5th place position after this restart. Now Sam Mayer all over the back bumper of his teammate Justin Allgaier, coming up on 3 to go at the line this time by. Good run up off that final corner, having to hop in the draft of this long straightaway down the main stretch towards turn 1 again. And we'll see if Mayer is going to try to outbrake his teammate to get in line. 5 Chevys occupying the top 5 positions, 2 Colleague and 3 JRM cars sandwiched between those 2 Colleague cars. I get to 14th. Obviously, Sheldon Creed had the penalty from the restart before that for jumping down the line too early. He's now back in 20th. And Chandler Smith, who was in the top 10 2 restarts ago, now done for the day with an engine failure prior to that last caution coming out on the racetrack as well. Ever since Allgaier's lost the lead, he continues to lose time to Shane Van Gisbergen and continues to hold up his teammate Sam Mayer, who has not yet made the pass. Very tight racetrack, very difficult to make passes on a longer green flag run. It was so crucial for SVG to get to the lead when he did, but you can't call Allgaier or Mayer out of it yet. You never know what could happen here. 2 laps to go this time by. Mayer clips the tire wall up off the exit of that final corner at the left rear corner panel, and it slowed him quite a bit. He was all over the back of the 7, and now there's about a 4 or 5 car length difference, and his left rear tire is going down. Mayer hit the tire wall perfectly with the left rear tire. His tire has gone down. He is going to pull out of the way, so that way there's not going to be a caution. Tough break for Sam Mayer. Oh, man, just clipped it ever so slightly with the left rear tire. And Mayer's good comeback is now going to come to an end. And it's just a 2-car race all of a sudden for the win between the 97 and the 7. Unless, of course, they get into it, then Sammy Smith's now the cleanup guy back in 3rd. That moves Ed Jones into the top 5 as well. Good run for him in the Xfinity Series, getting a shot here today. Not many more corners to go as they come up on the final one for the 2 lap to go mark. Lap 75 of 75 now. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Shane Van Gisbergen about 3 to 4 tenths of a second ahead of Allgaier and is a few car lengths ahead of him down into the heavy braking right-handed turn 1. Allgaier closes the gap just a little bit. Race back to the throttle. More steady for SVG. Big bounce off the curb from turn 2 to turn 3. And a slight bit of clipping the grass off the exit of turn 3 by the left rear tire of Allgaier's car as he continues to lose ground this lap to the 97 in front of him. Road course racing ace Shane Van Gisbergen, after a little under a calendar year ago on 4th of July weekend, won his first Cup race in his first Cup start. It took him a few extra starts in the Xfinity Series to get a win this season, but on his second road course start in the NASCAR Xfinity Series after nearly finishing second at COTA earlier this season, he is now less than a half a lap away from victory here today. The 20 of Brian Truex, meanwhile, goes off the racetrack further back in the field. I mentioned he lost 11 spots in the restart, now going to fall even further behind on this final lap as he is out of the way in the grass. We continue to stay green. Up off the exit of the final corner. Checkered flag in the air. Shane Van Gisbergen is going to win his first career Xfinity Series race at Portland International Raceway in the Pacific Office Automation 147. And the first win, again, for Colleague Racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series this season. And I believe it is their first win in the series since last year when Chandler Smith won the Summer Richmond race for this team. That was in the 16 car. SVG, of course, in the 97. And burning it down, drifting around every corner of this racetrack here as he celebrates his first career Xfinity Series win. That's cool. Supercarring it around the corners here at Portland under a caution pace. And this is like going to be his victory celebration going forward. I'm all here for it. He's doing a burnout while everybody's trying to get back to pit road, though. It's funny. 9/10 of a second margin to victory for SVG. 2 hours, 7 minutes, 23 seconds total time on this race. Just 6 minutes longer than the Truck Series race earlier today. A 69.3 mile per hour average race speed. And we ended this race under its original scheduled distance of 147 miles, 75 laps. 27 cars finished on the lead lap. Shane Van Gisbergen led 3 different times, 12 laps led for him. Justin Allgaier led 46 laps today, 3 times, as Allgaier led the most. I'm not sure who won the stages today. You'll have to fill me in the chat who won stage 1 to stage 2. Again, I was commentating the full truck race during that point in time. But those are the most leaders in this race. Actually, Riley Herbst led the second most laps with 15 laps led in this one. 2 laps led for Sheldon Creed, and Sam Mayer, who started on the pole, did not lead a lap. So only 4 drivers led at least 1 lap in this race today. The 4 different drivers who led in this one, we had 9 lead changes amongst those 4 different leaders. We'll go through the full finishing results once we get the interview with Shane Van Gisbergen. Currently on a side-by-side commercial break right now on FS1. We'll take a quick break ourselves before we get into that interview. You're listening live on KR.
I think that should be his signature. He should do that everywhere he can win it. I don't think we have the car control. So he was at speed.
A huge win because it's the first of his career.
Either win. Listen to the crowd.
Year 1, he's going to the playoffs. How awesome is that?
This team's no stranger to wins at road courses. AJ Allmendinger coming home from the top 5. His teammate has maybe paved the way for him to be here battling for this win.
What's up, Josh?
Hey. Shane Van Gisbergen getting his first career Xfinity Series win. Shane, for you, we know road course racing is your bread and butter. Go ahead, my friend. Go ahead. I mean, that's a first right there, too. We know road course racing is your bread and butter. You qualify up front, but everything in the middle of the race was a battle. Talk me through getting the lead back on that final restart and ultimately what it took to get the win.
Okay, well, firstly, I'm very sorry to Sam Mayer and the 1 team for the first corner. I just mucked up there and just clipped him, so very sorry. He got back well, but yeah. Quadlock Chevy, thanks Cooler Racing, Trackhouse guys, and yeah, what a day. It was really cool, had some great racing. I need to get better at my restarts and learn how to position, but that was so much fun. Really, really cool racing. I love these cars. They're great.
How about that celebration? I mean, we haven't seen that before. You tried to do the burnout the entire track and then the punt. Did you know you were going to do that if you got a win?
I just do whatever comes to mind, but probably need a tuner, need a bit more steering lock. I spun out, so make that better for next time.
Shane Van Gisbergen, your winner at Portland. Amanda?
Justin Allgaier's been taking in the final of this race. And Justin, I heard you on the radio tell your team what a great job they did today. And you said, I'm so angry at myself. In reflection, what could you have done different?
Oh, I don't know. I think that under those restarts, we were so free taking off, and the car was just struggling to get grip. Once I got the tires hot, it was really, really good. And I think that's the hardest part is, we kind of once he got by me there, I probably overdrove it trying to get back to him, and probably didn't help my cause any. But really proud of this team. I mean, all the effort that this team puts forth is truly incredible. To come here 2 years in a row, finish second 2 years in a row, stings a little bit, but at the same time, really proud of everybody at Brand Fresh and Art Culture. Had the cherries on the car this week. It looked good. I had a bunch of guests here. Just all in all, it was a rough day. Nothing to say about it.
We'll see you in Sonoma.
Thank you.
We hear from the veteran there, but it's the rookies who have been outstanding so far this season. Jesse Love wins at Talladega. First of his career today, belonged to another
Clean
rookie,
pass,
Shane
too.
Van
He never
Gisbergen.
touched him.
There's how he got it done.
No, you got to be heartbroken for Justin Allgaier, right? I mean, solid interview. He doesn't want to talk to us right now, frustrated with what happened. But we saw that, guys, on the restart. That car just wouldn't fire off. He said the balance was a little bit too free. He didn't need those cautions at the end. Sometimes they work for you. Sometimes they work against you.
You're right, Jamie. It's not often you feel bad for a second place finisher. Like, come on, man, it's not that bad. But for Justin Allgaier to be so close, not just here, but you think back to Phoenix, we saw those highlights of blowing a tire, leading the race with under 5 to go. Then last week at Charlotte, he's just been in contention to win so many races this year.
Led 46 laps today, sweeps the stages.
Story of the last couple seasons, really, for Justin Allgaier, but coming to a full explosion this year on several occasions, as you heard. Sammy Smith, your third place finisher, is now standing on pit road with Heather Beddoe.
We're just battling this car all day long. How do you lock in and get through that?
Yeah, it was a long day. We obviously started at kind of 9th, 10th there, and was stayed there stage 1, and then spun out there stage 2, and had to work our way back up. So it's a good job to everyone at least Jaron, P, Flying J, TMC, everybody that's been sticking with us lately. We've started to run where we wanted to these last couple of weeks, and it's starting to show. So just got to keep this momentum going into Sonoma.
Thank you, Sammy.
Thank you.
I'm anxious to look at the leaderboard because Sammy Smith, who's down there at the cut line, has a great day, but Van Gisbergen, doing what he did today, jumps up to the top and joins the playoff race. 6 drivers, 6 series regulars have won. They're locked in. Sammy Smith now at the cut line, plus 20. Klickerman, pretty good day, plus 34.
I've been talking about it through most of the season. There's a lot of road courses for the Xfinity Series this year. SVG has to be a threat to win on nearly every single one of them after the performance he put up at COTA, on track where he had no on-track experience, and a lot of the Xfinity regulars did. You come to a race here today, that's the same case. And he adapts quickly, qualifies second overall practice, but gets the win when it matters the most on these late race restarts, despite not leading the most laps. And I mentioned that in the Truck Series pre-race when I made my predictions for both races before they both began, that I said SVG wasn't going to lead the most laps, but if there were late race restarts, he was going to capitalize like he did in the Chicago street race last year, like he was doing late until contact with him and Austin Hill at COTA. No contact needed here today. Clean race there at the finish, at least between him and Allgaier, and he got the win. So at least went 1 for 2 today, and Ty Majeski, my truck race win pick, ends up finishing 4th. Full results right now. We'll go through that for this Xfinity Series race. Shane Van Gisbergen with the win, again, 9/10 of a second margin of victory over Justin Allgaier, who led the most laps and finishes 2nd. Sammy Smith finishes 3rd. AJ Allmendinger 4th, and Ed Jones rounds out the top 5, the only Toyota in the top 10. Cole Custer Highs finishing 4th in the 6th place position. Josh Williams 7th. Parker Kligerman 8th. Parker Retzlaff 9th, and Riley Herbst 10th. Austin Hill 11th. Josh Balicki 12th. Sheldon Creed 13th. Ryan Sieg 14th. Austin Green 15th. Brennan Poole in 16th. Ryan Ellis 17th. Kyle Sieg 18th. Jesse Love 19th. And Blaine Perkins 20th. Nathan Bird 21st. Garrett Smithley 22nd. Andre Castro 23rd. Patrick Gallagher 24th, Kyle Weatherman 25th, Leland Honeyman 26th, and Ryan Benedetto and Matt. Oh, geez, I butchered his last name. Jeremy Clements 2 laps down at 30th. Matt DiBenedetto finishes 31st. I was talking a little too quick there. Anthony Alfredo finishes 32nd, 3 laps down for him. Haley Deegan 4 laps down, finishing 33rd. Sage Karam 34th, 6 laps down, 9 laps down for Chandler Smith with the DNF. Raina Jones DNF finishing 36th. 37th for Jeb Burton, Preston Pardis 38th, so 4 DNFs total in this Xfinity Series race from the looks of it. Again, we had 4 different drivers lead, 9 lead changes amongst them. And not sure exactly how many cautions there were in this race. The caution monitor at the bottom of the screen you see there was from the truck race. And again, I didn't tune in until 10 to go in this Xfinity race. So that's all you got to see on this Xfinity Series race. I apologize for that, but we got the full truck race in. The races overlapping with one another. That definitely hurt there. Now, Shane Van Gisbergen coming into this race, though, was below the cutoff line. I was kind of leading into that a little bit when I mentioned he was going to be a threat to win a lot of these road course races in the summer months for the Xfinity Series. He could have gotten a win despite being below the cutoff line on points. He was flirting with the bubble for a while, kind of fell back over the last several weeks, but this win instantly vaults him into the playoffs automatically. And he does not have to stay in the top 20 in points anymore. He came into this day 15th. He was 34 points below the cutoff line on Anthony Alfredo. Now, Alfredo did not have a good day with finishing outside the top 30 in a DNF for him, so or a few laps down at least for Alfredo. So that being said, he was going to make up a lot of points as it was, but a win again locks him in. Sammy Smith does pick up enough points to move ahead of Alfredo now, so Sammy Smith has the last spot on points. He's 20 points ahead of Anthony Alfredo. He came in just 2 points behind him. Again, 2 hour, 7 minute, 23-second race. Finished under the regulation length of 75 laps, 147 miles, 69.33 mile per hour average race speed in this one. Let me look back at the chat real quick to see who won the first 2 stages if you guys didn't mention it already. 7 won both stages. Thank you for that, Jeff. So Justin Allgaier wins stage 1 and stage 2. On top of leading the most laps today, that gives Allgaier 10 stage wins on the season now, but only 1 race win to show for. Chandler Smith with the DNF, though, that's going to allow Allgaier to close on the regular season standings, finishing second, winning both stages. Still a very, very solid points day, so he's going to be within 30 points now of Chandler Smith for that regular season championship lead. Cole Custer finished in the top 10 as well. May come out of this race with the points lead, depending on how the stage points exactly played out. I don't know that again for sure, but points are going to be a lot tighter within those top 4 positions than what they already were coming into the race, which was pretty tight. Next weekend, the Xfinity Series heads to Sonoma, a mini West Coast swing for them. We'll have live commentary for that race next weekend. The rest of the schedule for this weekend on the live commentary side of things, we have live commentary for tomorrow's NASCAR Cup race at 3 p.m. Eastern. They will be racing in St. Louis at Gateway International, just like we saw from the truck race earlier today at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. Appreciate everybody tuning in for both streams today. I know, sorry, this was a very short Xfinity Series race stream. Weather hopefully is going to cooperate with us going forward. This 2 weeks in a row, we've had these overlapping streams with one another. So, I'm sure it hurts you guys, the viewers that want me to commentate both races. I just can't do it. I'll miss too much of it. That's the reason why I don't do it. Yeah, I can visually watch both races at the same time, but I can only have one leaderboard on at the same time, so I'd still be missing so much that would be happening. They both have to not be in a commercial break at once, and then even then, I'm not getting my ad breaks in. It's just, it messes everything up. So the cleanest way to do it, the most professional way, on top of the, way of giving you guys the best stream I possibly could, is to just do one at a time. And unfortunately, in an instance like we had last week with the Indy 500 Coke 600, and this week that I'm only going to be able to do one race and just the finish of another, essentially. So hopefully we don't have overlaps again the rest of the season. I know there aren't as many standalone events for the Truck and Xfinity Series races over the last several seasons post-COVID compared to what we had before that. So that's good, at least for our sake, for these live commentary streams. So Sonoma next weekend. Tomorrow, Cup race will begin at 3 p.m. Eastern. No rain in the forecast there. Hope to see you then. Thanks for watching both streams today for races, and even that Cup stream this morning we had went live at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Here we are about a quarter after 7. Still live here today. Been a long day. Nonetheless, hope to see you back better than ever tomorrow. Have a good rest of your Saturday night, everybody.